countless victims around the world who had their lives completely shattered. So, what they were going through in comparison to anything that I experienced, like there's no comparison. So I would think often, if I think this is hard, I then think about how hard it is for these victims who experience the immortalization of their trauma, something that they will never be able to have completely removed from the internet. I am a witness to these crimes. Again, that was one thing that I tried to kind of highlight in the book as something that really helped me along on this journey, was this idea that these crimes needed a witness to be able to say, this happened, it was wrong, every abuser has to pay for what happened. And so considering myself as a witness who could then bring this information to the public, to people in power, to then press for change, was one way that I was able to kind of continue to be able to watch this very traumatic content, but then also to realize, again, I have the power to press pause. Victims don't. And in some cases, when I felt like it was too much, or I felt like, and I described that these feelings in the book as you kind of watch this content with me, and this feeling of like, it's too much, I don't think I can watch anymore. But then even a feeling of guilt at even thinking that thought, because again, these victims can't stop. They have to live with this nightmare for the rest of their lives. They have made some changes, in extreme duress, right? Under extreme pressure, losing credit card companies, losing Visa, MasterCard, Discover, being forced to delete 80% of the site, 10.6 million videos and over 30 million images because they were unverified and infested with illegal content. They were forced to take down a download button that they had intentionally placed on the site, where people actually had the ability to download and possess these crime scenes and be able to re-upload them not only to Pornhub, but to the rest of the internet for the rest of these victims' lives. So they had to remove the download button. They were also pressured to change their upload process, where they began to verify the uploader of those who were actually uploading this video. So previously it was completely anonymous. When the story started, anybody anonymously in under 10 minutes with only an email address could upload homemade sex videos to the site with no verification of age, no verification of consent. And finally, they were pressured to have to change the upload process, but that wasn't enough. Because as one example I give is, there was a 12-year-old boy in Alabama who was drugged, overpowered, and repeatedly raped by a man named Rocky Shea Franklin, and 23 of those rape videos were uploaded to Pornhub, and Rocky Shea Franklin was a verified uploader. So he had gone through that process, but they hadn't verified, and even to this day, the site is awash with content that the individuals in the videos have not been reliably verified for age or consent. So they have taken steps, but they're not sufficient to eliminate illegal content from the site. So even to this day, there's illegal content on Pornhub. Because as a mom, I have 2 young children, and they didn't sign up for this. And at times it felt like there were real threats against myself and my family, including my children. And so that was a real struggle to, make that decision that I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to shut the petition down. I'm not going to be quiet just because I'm scared, or because there's intimidation or threats and things like that. It wasn't just happening to me. It was also happening to others who were speaking out, and to victims. And at the end of the day, I just said, there's no choice. I am not going to back down to intimidation, to threats, to all of these things that were happening, because justice is too important. The intimidation tactics have remained intimidation tactics and threats and things like that. Although, my family has experienced, things like not only death threats and rape threats and, having images of myself imposed on, pornographic content distributed online and things like that. But we have gone through things like hacking, doxing, those kinds of things. But yeah, hasn't transformed into anything physical.